All right, hello everybody, and welcome to video number two. Trying to figure out if I can hide video, hide flood. There we go. Okay, that way I can see my screen. So we should be looking at this right here, which is the window of Photoshop. And this video, we're going to go over the basic elements of the user interface in Adobe Photoshop. The user interface is all of these buttons and options and things you can click on and drag around and all sorts of stuff in Photoshop. Oh, I accidentally brought that back. There we go. Um, so there's a lot you can do in Photoshop. It can be a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to take it one part at a time. So this video right here is going to be linked to an assignment in Schoology. That assignment is called Photoshop User Interface Labels. And in that assignment, as I'm talking, you're going to fill in these boxes what these different parts of the user interface are called. And hopefully that will help you remember those things. So go ahead and pull this up on your other window so you can follow along. So the very first part is the menu bar up at the top. This is called the menu bar. A lot of applications have a menu bar. And this is how you can do almost everything through the menu bar, but there are some faster ways to do it down below. But this has tons of options in it. I'll point out a few. Very important. Create a new file, open an existing file, save your file. Okay, there is no more important button in Adobe Photoshop than the save and the save as button. Okay, export, if you want to export it as a particular type of image, you can do that as well. All right. Edit, you can find things like copy and paste, other more specific options, ways to adjust your image, change around your layers, all sorts of good stuff. The next thing I'll talk about is down the side, and this is perhaps some of the buttons you'll be clicking the most. This is called the toolbar, and each of these icons is a different tool. If I let my mouse rest over one, oh, it's popping up on my other screen. Let's see if I can get it to pop up in here. There we go. If you'll see the name of the tool. So for instance, this is called the move tool, and I can even watch a quick video. Okay, close out of that. But if you want to, that's a great way to learn. You'll also see this little letter right here. That is the keyboard shortcut for that tool. So for instance, if I'm selected on, if I want to get to the crop tool, which is this one, I can either click that button or I can hit the C key. If I want to get back to the move tool, I can hit the V key. Okay, so I'm just hitting C, V, C, V on my keyboard and I'm bouncing back and forth. So some of our early lessons in Photoshop will be about how these different tools work. Now, what you'll notice is that as I select different tools, pay attention to this row of buttons right below the menu bar. And you can see that depending on what tool I select, I have different options of what I can do inside that bar, and they're specific to the tool. For instance, this is called the type tool. All right, and it lets you add text to an image. So I can, add some text in here. All right. Hello. All right. Now you'll see when I'm selected in the type tool, I get all these different options for like font. So I can come up here and change this to, any font that I want. I have font size. I've got justification, lots of things you're probably familiar working with in a text editor. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, how do I get out of this? Hide floating meeting controls. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that text I added because I don't actually want that there. But if I'm in, for instance, the crop tool, I get different options related to cropping my photo. And this bar is called the options bar for that reason. So because it gives you different options based on the tools, it's called the option bar. The last part of the user interface that I want to spend some time on is over here on the right-hand side, and these are called panels. Now, there are a whole bunch of different panels within here. They actually have this kind of tabbed structure. One of the most important ones is called the layers panel right here. You can change which panels these are based upon what you do in Photoshop. So my recommendation is since we are photographers, we will select this photography option and it actually changes some of our panels around. Now, actually, I prefer the essentials panels, even though we don't use a ton of them. The photography panels we'll also not really use in the beginner course. As long as you have access to your layers down here you'll be fine. The reason these are called panels is because you can actually drag them wherever you want them. So if I want to put my layers panel over here and make it really big and have it over here, I can do that. All right. But I can drag it back like that if I want to. Okay. And then I'll put it back first. All right. So there's your user interface elements. And yeah. Good job.